What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV. So yeah, I want to give my take and the keys to victory for Vasyl Lomachenko. What he needs to do to be victorious over Guillermo Rigondeaux come December 9th. I already gave my take on Guillermo Rigondeaux and what I think will happen for Guillermo. What will take place for Guillermo Rigondeaux to win the fight. So now I want to give you guys my take on the keys to victory for Vasyl Lomachenko. So, Vasyl Lomachenko, both of these fighters are very, very skilled. They both very, very skilled fighters. In my last video, I know I saw a lot of comments when people saying that as if I was saying Lomachenko don't have a chance to win this fight. That's not true. This is a 50-50 fight. If Lomachenko is to win this fight, though, there's some keys that he has to use to win this fight. There's some things that he has to be very precise in doing, and a game plan he has to execute to win this fight. Guillermo Rigondeaux is not your average fighter, and I'm not going to say that Vasyl Lomachenko is your average fighter, because he's definitely not your average fighter either. One of the things is, I think that Lomachenko is going to have to, his inside game, he needs to be very, very careful and very precise and accurate, and work his way into the inside. That's something that Rigondeaux hasn't seen. He's fought a lot of bigger fighters than him, but those fighters weren't as skilled as he is. Now I think that his footwork and his foot placement on the inside is actually better than Lomachenko's. But I do think that one of the keys for Lomachenko victory is to get in the inside and be accurate. But he has to be very precise with his punches, and he has to be very, very careful. He has to stay calm, but not too calm, because Guillermo Rigondeaux will lull you to sleep, and make it his type of fight, a la Floyd Mayweather. They like to make it a boring fight, let their punches count. They land nice, clean, accurate punches, and that's what the judges see. Lomachenko is taller than Guillermo Rigondeaux. I see a lot of people saying that size is going to matter in this fight. Guillermo Rigondeaux is shorter, the shorter fighter in this fight. Lomachenko is 5'6". Guillermo Rigondeaux is 5'4", listed at. That's what they're listed at. But the thing about it is, what people are not paying attention to is Lomachenko has very, very short arms. His arms are measured at 65 inches. Guillermo Rigondeaux arm length is listed at 68 inches, which means, he has longer arms. So that's why a lot of his fights, and he fights a lot of big fighters, he's so successful, because he could stay out of range with these big fighters. He could stay at distance where he could use his skill set and his footwork, but he still could hit them at distance. So that's why I'm saying that I think Lomachenko's going to have to close the gap. And he has to get in, very smart, very precise and very calmly, And another thing is, I don't think that Lomachenko shouldn't use all the unnecessary movements, like in the Mariaga fight and like in the Jason Sosa fight. He does a lot of, granted, I know it's a lot of showboating and shoe shining, but he can't do all of those unnecessary movements in his fight, man. He's got to be calm. More like when he had the fight with Gary Russell. That's the version of Vasyl Lomachenko that we need to see for him to be victorious in his fight. He has to stay calm and composed. Don't let Rigondeaux's patience, because Rigondeaux has a lot of patience. He can't let Rigondeaux's patience frustrate him into making uncharacteristic mistakes. We're not used to seeing him make. It's like I always revert back to Floyd Mayweather, because his skill set and his patience forces fighters to make mistakes that they normally wouldn't make. Uncharacteristic mistakes that So another thing is, I see a lot of people saying his size is an advantage, but if you watch Lomachenko fight, he doesn't use his size. He's not a fighter. He's not a pressure fighter. He's actually a pressure fighter, but he's a precise pressure fighter. He's a boxing pressure fighter. He's not he's not the Brandon Rios type he's just not a bull in a china shop. His attack is very calculated. But he has to use his size along with his skill set to overwhelm Guillermo Rigondeaux on the inside. Guillermo Rigondeaux, like I said, he's fought a lot of big fighters, but not a lot of big fighters with this skill set. Nonito Donaire had a lot of power. He's fought a lot of big fighters that have most of the fighters that let's just be honest. All of the fighters that Guillermo Rigondeaux fights are all bigger than him. But Nonito Donaire had a lot of power. He fights a lot of fighters with a lot of power. So none with the skill set of a Lomachenko. Only their skill sets can match each other. There's nobody else in boxing that can match the skill set that these two boxers have. That's what makes this fight so intriguing. He has to get on the inside, overwhelm Guillermo Rigondeaux, and bully him, with his skill set and his size. That would be a huge factor in this fight because, like I said before, Rigondeaux hasn't fought a fighter with this size, with that type of skill set. It's clear that Lomachenko has a way higher skill set than Nonito Donaire. He just didn't pack the power that Nonito Donaire packs, So he has to use his jab and use his size to get inside, and then use his skill set on the inside to overwhelm Guillermo Rigondeaux on the inside. That's what I think he needs to do. It's like all his skill sets, but all the dancing that he does, all the shoe shining that he does on the outside, all of that, that can't happen in this fight. He has to be very precise. He has to be very patient, just not too patient. He can't just be a bull in the china shop because Guillermo Rigondeaux is a counter fighter. He's a counter puncher. So he has to take his time, but not too much time. Get it. His jab is awesome, man. He could use his jab. His jab could be very effective in this fight. So he got to use his jab. Come forward. Once he get on the inside, then use his size and his skill set both together and overwhelm Guillermo Rigondeaux. He has to kind of smother Guillermo Rigondeaux's offense. Because just like Floyd Mayweather, when you put out a high offense output against Floyd Mayweather, they get overly defensive, and that's what Guillermo Rigondeaux could do. He could get overly defensive. Just like when Floyd Mayweather fought Oscar De La Hoya, he was more defensive than he was offensive because Oscar De La Hoya's jab and his output. So that's kind of what Lomachenko has to do with his size, but in the same token using his skill set. And then that's his keys to victory. I think if he uses that and he beats, because he's a very smart fighter, and I don't, like I said before, I'll repeat this again. There's no other fighter in the sport of boxing that can match their skill set. Only they can mirror each other's skill set. I just personally think that inside that Guillermo Rigondeaux's footwork inside is better than Lomachenko's, but it's not night and day better. So. And I'm not saying that Lomachenko's skill set is not, right behind him, because it's his footwork inside is right behind Guillermo Rigondeaux. I just think that Rigondeaux's skill set, inside skill set, footwork is just a tad bit better than Lomachenko's inside. So those are my keys to victory for Vasyl Lomachenko. This should be a hell of a fight. I should be there covering this live. I will be at the weigh-in. I will be at the press conference. So, I will keep you guys in the loop. And I will keep you guys with all the information and give you guys all the footage on this fight. This is the fight of the year, man. This could be the fight of the decade, man. Popularity-wise, Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao was the fight of the decade. Fight of the century because of popularity. Rigondeaux and Lomachenko's popularity is not on the level of Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. But I think the actual fight inside the ring will be a better fight. So, I definitely think this is a 50-50 fight. I personally think that Guillermo Rigondeaux's inside footwork and defense could be the difference, and I see him pulling it out. But I'm not saying that Vasyl Lomachenko doesn't have a chance. And if I think that he execute, like I said, that I gave you these keys that he should use to execute this fight, I do think that this fight could go either way. So that's all I got for y'all, man. Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit that like button. Make sure you hit the bell icon to get all the new notification. And please make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. That's all I got for y'all. Blue Blood Sports TV. Peace.
Around here, and I'm out 8 in the mall, dog. Clock 2 around here. What you do around here? And I keep my tool around here. My act a fool around.